All right, I'm super excited for this conversation. I'm joined by a true visionary who has been at the forefront of technological change for decades. Our guest is Jonathan Brill, the futurist in residence at Amazon. He's the executive chairman of the Center for Radical Change and the former global futurist at HP. He's been ranked the number one futurist in the world by Forbes and the world's leading transformation architect by Harvard Business Review. Jonathan has developed over 350 products that has generated tens of billions of dollars in new revenue, and his expertise has transformed innovation at organizations from KPMG to the U.S. Secret Service. His new book is AI and the Octopus Organization, Building the Super Intelligent Firm. Jonathan argues that AI initiatives are falling flat because leaders are trying to put new technology into broken, rigid systems. And he says the key to survival lies in a surprising source, the octopus. Today, maybe we'll understand that a little bit more. Welcome to the program, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Shalom.
Absolutely. Your book's central concept is the Octopus Organization. What is the core biological lesson that the octopus offers to modern business leaders who are struggling with complexity and change?
Today's firm is built on a vision of the great man of the 19th century, a big brain at the top that tells all of the things below them what to do because of how they're organized. In nature, there are other ways of thinking. There are other ways of innovating. We have a centralized mind, but an octopus has a distributed mind. Literally, each tentacle is out there looking around on its own, exploring on its own. When it sees something, when it smells something, when it touches something, it takes that information and it puts it up to a mini octopus brain in each tentacle. And those talk to each other and they decide what to do. And then they tell the big brain what they've just done. In a world of artificial intelligence, all of our people plus AI in a small number of years will be smarter than Einstein. And we need to stop telling them what to do. And we need to start freeing them to invent for us.
Jonathan, you've led innovation, as I mentioned in the show intro, at a massive scale at HP and Amazon. What's the single biggest mistake you see leaders making today that causes their AI initiatives to fall flat?
I think it's trying to replace what you have with something slightly better, to automate existing systems, instead of thinking about what are the things we should be doing. And with the rate of technology innovation, right, AI has improved by about 7 times in the last year. We need to start thinking about, like, what happens when it's 20 times better? What happens when it's 30 times better? How do we work then? We need to start thinking backwards instead of trying to innovate our way forwards.
Absolutely. And you argue that clinging to rigid hierarchical structures is dangerous, actually dangerous in the AI era. What does a truly resilient and radically adaptive organizational structure look like in practice?
The things that we've never been able to do that keep people from doing all of the stuff, that managers from doing all the stuff they should do to be more innovative, psychological safety, freeing people to experiment, all of that stuff. The reason we don't do it is because it's too challenging to manage the command and control in our companies today if we do it that way. In the world of AI, a lot of those rules, a lot of those ways of managing command and control, managing governance, they change. They get automated by AI. They give us visibility into the organization. While the octopus's tentacle might be innovating out on being creative out there on its own, when it wants to, the central brain can turn an eye over there and other 7 tentacles do their own thing, but that one tentacle is under its control. The reality in the world of artificial intelligence is that kind of visibility into the organization is suddenly possible through tools like transcription tools like Otter, and being able to just understand all of the conversations in the firm.
What are some simple steps, Jonathan, a leader can take today to stop overthinking their AI vision and actually start testing and implementing it in a way that delivers measurable value quickly? That's something every entrepreneur is asking.
Well, sure. Everyone wants the silver bullet. And here's the reality. This is not a technological problem. It's a sociological problem. It's about how do you give up control and how do you give your people who may not have the life experience the ways of thinking of senior leaders earlier in their careers. How do you teach them to leverage help from each other? How do you teach them to go and make unexpected connections, meet people outside of the organization who might be able to help? How do you help them to think through first principles about how to control chaos? Because we're going to be in a mode of constant disruption over the next 5 to 10 years. And then how do you encourage them not just to run into the fire, but take that time to know what's missing? Because if you leverage help and unexpected connections, you control chaos and you know what's missing. You've got this nifty acronym luck, but you have a way to very quickly help your people think through how they would work through the challenges that you face.
Mm-hmm. You've successfully transformed innovation at organizations like the Secret Service. What's one principle that you've applied in that kind of environment that you believe can be applied to any business seeking rapid transformation?
Assume you don't know. Start by asking, what is it that I don't know that I should? Ask it of your employees, ask it of your customers, ask it of anybody on the street.
Jonathan, many entrepreneurs don't have many dollars and cents to spend. So what's the most cost-effective of the 5 ways that you recommend they can make their organization AI ready right now?
To me, I think the question is, how do you experiment? How do you get people working with these tools? And how do you get people bubbling up that innovation? There's 2 ways of innovating. Top down, we define the process, we break it down, we decompose it, we tell everybody else the pieces we want them to do. The other way is to say, hey, everybody, what's wrong with the organization? What am I not seeing? And how could you use these tools to start to automate, to start to help you be more effective and do more of your job instead of do the jobs of communication and control that AI is going to be better at than a lot of us. I think that's the first thing.
Absolutely. And looking forward, I know you're very passionate about this topic. What do our children need to know about the future of work and intelligence? Seems like a lot of the conversations that, I don't know, I grew up with, maybe it's got to be a little bit different. How do we prepare them for the super intelligent firm?
We need to think differently about what the role of work is for most people. Historically, it's been to go to the job to do the thing you're told. Now, it's to figure out the problem you're facing. These are senior leader tasks. These are the things that we teach in elite institutions in the United States. We need to figure out how to get our people thinking about what is the actual problem? What are the first principles behind the problem? What is the one question that if I answered it would give me the most knowledge about the challenge in front of me? And how do I offset? How do I manage risk? How do I manage the likelihood of failure? Because when you're doing the new things constantly, the likelihood of failure goes through the roof. It's that type of thinking, innovative thinking, that we need to embed into our children. How do you think critically? How do you think creatively? How do you think statistically? And how do you think scientifically about the problems in front of you? And how do you choose the right toolkit for the challenge you face? Because the ones that you've used before are unlikely to work in a new situation.
Absolutely. Again, we're chatting with the author of AI on the Octopus, Organization Building the Super Intelligent Firm. We have heard Jonathan Brill, the author, arguing that most AI initiatives are falling flat because leaders are trying to put new technology into broken, rigid systems. And my takeaway is that the key to survival lies in the surprising source, the octopus. We are going to leave it there. Jonathan, I want to make sure our listeners can find the book and get in touch with you. How can they do so?
My website's jonathanbrill.com. That's where you can find me for keynotes. If you want to pick up the book, it's on Amazon. It's on many of the places the new books are sold.
Fantastic, Jonathan Brill. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We'll link in the show notes, make it easy to stay in touch. And thank you for educating on such an important topic with our listeners. That's a wrap for us this week on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. As always, you get on my website, syklein.com, or of course, go on your favorite podcast app. Just search for Get Down to Business. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and share. And as I have been saying for the past few weeks, we are just around the corner from Small Business Saturday. That comes, of course, right after Black Friday and right before Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday and all that good stuff. But small business owners, this is your day to shine. So make sure you are putting the effort into the social media promotions, getting your website, getting your online presence ready. And as always, get in touch with me. I'd love to share some of your services, some of your resources to our small business audience. Once again, that's a wrap for us this week. Let's get down to business. We'll see you next Sunday right here on AM 560 The Answer, wherever podcasts can be found. Have a great week.